Handball fans, it's time to talk future of women's handball with no more, no less, but 5 Champions League winners. I'm Simona Margetic, and the guests that are here with me in the European Handball House in Vienna on the occasion of the Women's Competitions Conference do not need much of an introduction. As I already mentioned, they are the Champions League winners. They have been playing for their national teams for a long time. Some of them have already said goodbye to an active handball career, while some of them will say goodbye soon as they were playing their last European club competition season this year. So, welcome Nerea Pena, Andrea Lekic, Anja Gros, Anja Althaus, and Jovanka Radicevic. I am thrilled to have you here with me. As I already mentioned, we were at the Women's Competitions Conference where many different topics were discussed, many important things about the future of women's handball, many experiences and knowledge has been shared over the course of 2 days. And this is also the aim of this podcast, to discuss a little bit further on how we should elevate the women's game, how you see the future, you as the former players, still active players, how do you see the game developing in the coming years. So I spoke briefly with Anja yesterday. She said 1 hour for all the topics that we have listed. Knowing all of us, it's not going to be enough. And knowing all of you, you all like to talk and you all have a lot to say. So I'm really looking forward to the discussion. Maybe to throw off with the first topic is how accessible is women's handball? How accessible are the information about women's games, women's handball in general? Maybe Nerea, you can start.
From my point of view, I think in the last years, internet is helping a lot for accessing people to become closer to handball, especially to women's. Also, the big achievement from many teams that we have had in the past has helped the people get it interested in the sport, and especially in some not as much developed countries as the ones as Norway, Denmark, maybe Germany has had until now. Now, some less development countries have become more viewers in their own countries with the sport, which I think is helping also the European competitions.
What about the rest of you?
Yeah, I have to agree. I also think the new system of playing Euro, for example, where there are more let's say, smaller or countries who came into the competition. So, of course, this was very big part of also spreading the women's handball to get more viewers, to get it more popular. So I think that was a huge step towards a good future for women's handball, I think.
Anja, you from the media perspective, you also have a media experience.
Well, I think like everything, of course, like Nerea say, like the internet and everything, the social media helped a lot, and everything also what the EHF was doing, like to show more how incredible women we have actually, the stories behind. I think this is very important also to create the role models. We need to show much more what actually is going on, because we have so much also other talented player, what they're doing beside, or how your day look like. And I think we had a good start, but we just need to continue doing this much more. And especially we saw also today that especially in the women's, the girls need idols. They need to see how things are going on. And I think we need to use much more the internet, the possibilities to create apps or whatever. Like, we need to do it much more. I have like also the background now from the media, of course. I got the opportunity to grow inside this, but also now when I'm with the national team to see what even there in your own country you have possibilities, and using the World Cups now, the upcoming World Cup, what I'm seeing, what the German Federation is trying to do, also to put more awareness for the women, to use these events to spread more the women handball, and to show that it's the amazing world to come inside. And I think we are on the great way, but there's still so much space up where we can use, and so much possibilities.
Role models are definitely one of the topics that we will touch upon a bit later, but coming back to the topics discussed and some of the presentations that you also saw at the Women's Competitions Conference, What can we use, and which lessons have we learned from other sports that have used the momentum of this growth of women's game? For example, basketball, volleyball. What are the things that we can learn from and use as good examples? Andrea, maybe you have a say.
I mean, first, I think we are all very thankful for being here. In the way, that's, I think, a great idea from EHF to call us in that way and to listen the players' perspective. This was not so often in the past, and now we got this great opportunity to say what we think. Of course, this is everything, like, for most of us, except Anja, this is some very new stuff. I mean, that we saw for the first time being on the other side of the line, and really grateful for that. But going back to your question, I would say that there is a trend in the world, and we are all feeling this in, let's say, last 2 years, maybe, starting with the women's football final and these kind of things, that women's sport is growing, and it's not even a question. Handball is having a small place in it, and we have to be realistic. That's why we are having all these conferences to get some new ideas how to make it better. We have to be realistic, fighting for the space with the other women's sport. We are still the ones who really need to learn from the others, and that's the thing what we had opportunity here. I mean, definitely, as we know, marketing is the main thing, as they already said, that media part is giving us a lot of opportunity to present handball players in a different way. I think this is the way how we could create the base, starting from the grassroots towards to the big scene, and for me, that would be some very nice pathway. Talking about the other things that you asked, I mean, it's very hard to take one special theme and say this was the one who, let's say, let the biggest impression on me. For me also, what is very important, that one of the most things what we should always address is the player's health. And players' health should be one of the, let's say, key points in our future, because no matter how it sounds hard to organize it, I think it's very manageable, and that's why we were here present, sharing our opinions.
When you talk about players' health, is it the competition system that can be adapted in order to help players have more time for regeneration, more time to get physically ready? Is this one of the points that would...
Okay, first of all, I want to say that I'm happy that I'm part of this women's conference, because some months ago I finished my career, and now look, all this, it's completely different, and I can say it's really for me interesting to listening to say my opinion with the girls here. And I agree with Andrea, of course, what everybody say here. I think us, like role model, we can use more to promote this handball in the world. But what Andrea said, I agree that here we really can speak open and loud about us, like player, like healthy, and we can be more sensitive on our voice and to hear our feeling. Because we know that every sport wants promotion, sponsors, money. It's normal, it's business in one way, but in another way also we like a player must be protect our healthy, mental healthy, physical healthy, because we spoke now about this Final Four. If you are watching that, 2 important games stay in 2 days. It's really unhuman, and it's really hard, because you fight for something and then you play in 48 hours 2 important games, and after, everybody know that after first game you cannot sleep immediately. So all these things we should really be more sensitive to hear the player, and of course find the balance between players and people who make organization.
The playing days at the EHF final for playing Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Sunday has been an ongoing topic for some time. Obviously, that, according to you, would be one of the solutions or one of the steps forward. Anything else that you would add on when it comes to the updates in the group phase of the club competitions, in the playing system itself, or maybe also European championships, to make them more attractive for fans, sponsors, players, but also on the other side, as you said, healthier for the players so that they can then perform in the best possible way?
Of course, there's all the time some wishes. In the end, you cannot make everybody happy, but I think it's important that we are taking care of or listen also to the players. That's why it's really great that we are here and that this conference take a place, and also that the EHF is open to listen this. I think it's a great step. But also, I think we have a really big competition. This is the Champions League, but we have also other competitions which I think we should also focus on and also support this much more. Now we were speaking also about the European final in Graz, and this is like, if you're speaking about that the stages are empty, it's not good. Then you need to, this is not good promotion for handball. We want to show the full halls and also to take the people in the hall. So then you really have to think about and to speak, either to find a new place or really like to listen everybody and to be better to organize this, that the people comes there, that we get this strong competition. There are also amazing clubs and amazing players inside get the same attention, because then you're pushing women handball also, which the clubs who are not in the Champions League. And I think there we can, there when we say we can be better there also to promote this much more and find maybe a better place, because like maybe Graz is not the right place to have this also great competition and strong competition. So, and I think this is something which we have to talk about also, and we also talked about here in this conference about. But yeah, for the calendar, I think there's a lot of things, like you have different views. You have the national team views, like who wants to take, of course, more plays. Then you have the players which needs the breaks and the well-deserved pause also for the healthy. You cannot make everybody happy, but it's good to try and to listen to find the balanced way. I think that's why it's this conference very good.
Some of you have also mentioned at the conference that you would also like to have more time with the national team, so more international team or national team breaks. How would that play out, in your opinion, in the club, on the club competitions itself? Would you be more ready for the club season? What would this mean for summer breaks and similar?
I think there should be a certain summer break for sure that it's equal for everyone, because now we can see many national teams taking place in the summer break for their 10, even 2 weeks preparation, and I think that's definitely not good for the physical, for the physics of each player. So like Anja said, of course it's hard to balance it, because that's the too big period between the April national team time and then the next one, which is just in September. But what we were discussing was maybe to make it longer during the season also. So instead of like 1 week, you prolong it into 10 days or even 2 weeks. And then you have more time, more trainings together. And then, of course, also let's have it less time. So for now, it's 4 times in a season, maybe make it 3 times and then longer periods, you know. So I think that's easier. Also, it gives you more time to travel, you know, to come to the, you know, for where you're playing for your club, to your country, and have more trainings with the national team. So I think that's maybe an option that could work in the future, and yeah, it would also benefit the players and for sure the federations as well.
Nerea, Andrea, you were nodding when Anna was talking. How exhausting it is? Are you missing, or were you missing when you were playing both on the club competitions level and national team level? Resting days, how did it play out with the club competition season?
I think there are many different situations. It's hard, many parts involved. Players who are playing everything, players who are not playing everything. So over my point of view, you always has to be in the position for the one who is playing everything. So the one who is on the club, playing national team, playing Champions League, playing or any European competition. So imagine a season who starts probably in the end of August, usually, with the league, and is not stopping any weekend from that on until December, almost Christmas, because you are running from the league Wednesday, Saturday with the Champions League, with 2 different international weeks in the middle, plus the championship in November, December. So that means not only matches, it means many trips, many days of rest that they use for a trip, that this is one of the topics we have discussed, like a traveling day is not a resting day, because many clubs counting like this. So it's really exhausting, especially for play. It's for everyone, not only for players, it's for the coaches, it's for everyone, but especially for the players, because who are suffering this physically. So these kind of solutions to prolong the times, I think they are positive for everyone because we are skipping trips, is making longer periods, not just for the trainings with the national team, but also to have more periods of rest between the trainings with the national team. This is one of the things I was telling. It's not only that we skip trips or you have more time to train, you also have more time to rest because when you go to the national team, especially if you live abroad your country, it's a day trip plus morning, afternoon training plus 1 or 2 matches, international matches. So it's a lot. So what you see in the TV is the match, but there is a lot of job behind that. So totally agree. I think the currently system of competitions, I think is quite okay, like how the Champions League or the matches are distributed. But the way how the weeks are maybe planned, it could be a little bit better. That's my opinion. And but regarding the break on summer, I think it's really important. I think it's difficult to make a same period for everyone, but at least to secure some days free for all the players, that I think medically someone can tell which is the perfect period to have this break. I think this should be secure for all the players, yes.
What you said, it's from my point, when I was play also in national team. Now if you are watching the player who play everything, most game, this after the final four, what we discuss, it's really hard that after that period you have a national team, because first of all these players who are playing everything and also final four to coming after that in with national team, it's really hard physically and really hard mentally, because you are empty completely. Doesn't matter how you will finish final four, to have national team in June or middle of, sorry Anja, to July, but it's how I look like player. Now I looking position from the player. I know that it's also hard for federation to find a nice time to build, to be together. It's really hard. But if we are looking healthy of players, it's really dangerous that period to be with national team, because last topic was discussing about this, because I was watching when I was in national team. It's really, I also want to rest, and special, some of us are players who play all the time in club and in national team. Okay, you have also many players who don't play in clubs so much, so for them maybe it can be good, but for us who play most, like we talk, it's really hard.
This is the interesting part. Also, if you, especially now for me, like we spoke before, I was from stopping a player, I became in the media. So suddenly I became a different view also, like, and experience. Now and I still have my player view always inside me, but now I'm starting to get to work for the federation, and then you just listen like a different point of the coach, what is actually behind and everything, and then you understand also more. Okay, you're seeing the player, and then you try to find a solution, which is not that easy. So everything what we also discussed about also today, when is the right point to do something, you will never find the perfect way. That's why I'm saying, like, also in the situation, it's like to explain, we, as a German national team, of course, we have the World Cup in front of our nose now, and we want to collect the national team now in the summer, because the gap, like we say before, like from April until September is too long. It's like where our coach say he would like that we meeting. We are speaking with all the clubs, and I have completely understanding for the players, for the clubs, because the clubs also say it's not the international week. We are the persons who are paying the players. They're getting salaries here, so of course they want also to protect their player and want everything focused for the club, which is also understandable. But on the other hand, you also want to try to find a way for the national team. So everything what we speak about, it's really, really complicated to find there a balanced way. So we will never find the perfect solution. That's why Lecky tell me, like, it's better to make after the season. You have the different opinion. Then we are making it now in July. It have pluses, it have minuses. So it's very interesting to speak about, and I think we will never come on the perfect way. But I think still, like, we should be open to find a balanced way, and that's why it's good that we are discussing about this and that we are collecting the opinions. So I think that's.
But without player, you cannot play Pilates.
No, for sure. And I'm the first who will always protect the players, because this is for me very, very important. Also to build trust, and also to the coaches. And we, in everything what we speak, we have also to educate the coaches to make the right thing. Also to push women handball, to understand and to do the best. We need also really good coaches. Like if we are speaking about this. In everything, we want more women and we want more quality. Then we need also quality coaches. It's also a part for me, like where you really a coach understand. Okay, I'm collecting now the players in the summer, but then I cannot kill them. I cannot just make this because I want to do this. So if you have a coach like this, of course you don't want to go there. This is for me also important.
So it has to be a good teamwork between all sides in order to find a proper system, a proper balance for everyone. Obviously, all the inputs coming from your side, it's talking about the health of the players, about the exhaustion of this entire season. And there is, I think, one very important topic when we are talking about any women's sports is motherhood. Where does this come into place with such a schedule? Maternity leaves, how does it work? What are the differences between different countries, different clubs, different federations?
Mother, your stage.
Your stage is yours.
You will know one day.
Protect us.
No, I cannot speak about all the countries, of course, because it depends of the law of each country. But this is one of the topics I work for the Women's Players Association in Spain, and this is one of the topics who is always on the table, because it depends of the law of the country. So, and also of the voluntary of the club, both, I would say, no? Because some countries, they don't really support this on the player's contract, but the club makes some kind of agreement with the wishes of the player, which I think is super fine. It should be always like this, no? Especially when you're a handball player, woman handball player, sorry, it affects you directly because it stops you not only for 9 months, it's almost a year and a half if you are a normal mommy and not a Norwegian mommy. But usually you need a year and a half to come back in your performance. I will say more like this. So it's a long period that the club is gonna probably pay you without having anything in return. We will say like this in a commercial side. But we have to also see the human side. It's a part of us. Women, we are, I don't say created, but we have the chance and the lucky to be mommies. And I think it's something the clubs always need to support. If it's a wish of the player, it's always have to be support. And this, I think EHF has something also to be with it, because it's something they need to promote, especially seeing that is more and more young mommies coming, that comparing with in other generations, I would say like that. And my experience was in Norway. I got pregnant in Norway, and the pregnancy leave is like a normal worker. So it's amazing. It's 8 months of pregnancy leave. You can come back as fast, as slow as you need. And the support from the club is 100% because they are also supported by the country. So it's easier like that. And I understand it's much easier like that. But in the countries who are not in the same position, they need to find a solution, a mutual solution, an agreement with between club players, whatever is in the country. I don't think it should be personal. I think it should be more like with the team.
It will be beautiful.
That's my opinion.
Will be beautiful.
Yes.
You have this possibility and awareness of the club. How important is this?
Yes.
That will be beautiful.
Yes. So my point of view is from a lucky country. So I was in a lucky country when I have this, but also I live in a country which has no this possibility. And my experience from the clubs I have heard in this situation, they have been quite open to negotiate in the last year, not before, because it's also culture inside. So it's something we need to develop. I think women, we also need to step up in this and make our rights done. So we need to also show them that it's something that can happen. And I don't think it's necessary that to stop handball to be a mom. I think it should be something that if it's my wish, I should join with my career.
This is very often the decision that you have to make, whether you go for an active handball career or you stop it, pause it to be a mother. How difficult it is to make such a decision? If
I think
you
like
can share.
now it's the time. It's because now the awareness and let's say, I'm trying to find the right word. The not old thinking of some older mans, like you know, that this is a sickness. You know, I listen sometimes like this is, you cannot do anything. You know, like a woman is a woman, and we are having this magical thing that we are bringing another human life on the world, which is amazing what has happened to the woman. But also you can use the woman in a different way, even if you're in there in the club. Why not to use her in different ways in the situation when she is pregnant? But everything have also something with communication and trust to do. Like when I was playing in Denmark for a couple years ago. That sounds always old, but even there, they was already aware that they make when the player wanted to become pregnant, then she say it to the club. The club was prepared on this, that they take another player. That in the case, because you can also not just say, okay, now I want to get pregnant. Woof, I'm pregnant. This also not happen, because sometimes it's take a year, take 2 years, and you can play in this time, so you cannot plan it completely. So, but the trust and the communication was already that great that a player felt free to say, hey, and I'm in a stage in my life, I would like to have a baby, that they feel this way. But in many clubs you could not do this. Even in Germany, there was like, soon as possible you say this, you would not get the contract. You will be out of the plan. And this is actually what is completely wrong in my world. If I'm honest to you, that I'm planning something and I get punished for this after, because maybe it will not happen immediately. But they say, no, this is like an option, we take her away. And we have to use this more, that it's a normal thing for a woman, a beautiful thing, that this will happen. But also if you see the strongness, how a woman comes back, you're a mommy, you're a handball player, you're a home organizer. What do you want more? Or you get a powerful woman. Why we are not using this much more? Why we are not using this for getting sponsors? You know, like this is something very magical, and I don't understand why we are not using the women in this case much more. And I think we are on the good way, but also depends on the countries.
And also we should speak loud about this, because I don't remember that we spoke about these things, because when this happened, we always hide this, and we are afraid what will happen if I will be pregnant by accident or something happen, how club will react, how people around me will react, because maybe it's the most important time for the club in the season, so we should speak about this, and we should find a way that we are protecting from club, because some of us in my country, it's not the same like for example in your, so we should also be protecting from EHF in one way, to try to find something that if we want to be mom, and if this happened, that we look on that on a really nice way, not to be what is next, now club doesn't want me anymore, how I will figure my future. So this is things about, and I think we should speak about this more.
This is, I mean, one of the topics, one of the things that you think about when you start your professional career, or you go into any professional sport, and it's only one of the many pillars that you consider before putting your life and putting your time into becoming a professional athlete. And I think that one of the issues that many federations or the sport in general is facing is the dropout of the young girls from the sport. What do you think would be the reason for it? How can we work on keeping young girls in handball? How can we develop grassroots sports?
Coaches. Sorry, it's like the clubs and the coaches. Like we have a new generation, and if you're not as a coach educated, like how to be with the youth, and to motivate them, and also to bring them like the idols. The idols are also very important. Like this you can make from the EHF, but also every club, every nation should be much better to show the idols, but also to educate the coaches. That there, to show that there is a way. It is worth to go in, to continue in this beautiful world. For me, it's handball the most beautiful word. like what we're having, like if you compare to football, sorry, I know a lot of football players, and they are all jealous on the world what we're having, because if I'm introducing you a friend of mine, they will be part of our family, and you will be very quick here inside. And this you should show much more, that you can learn a new culture if you go in another club, you know, like you will make friends all over the world. Look, I'm Spain, I'm from Serbia, I'm from Slovenia, I'm from Montenegro. So this is like something which is so beautiful, and which is the world, you know, it's not stopping just like on the national competition. You just can go much further. Your goal goes to the Olympic Games, and I think we are a little bit missing out what is everything in this way on the past there. And I think we need to much more educate also the coaches, to give them more the motivation and the joy and everything. And this is also again country to country. I live now in a country where I'm just seeing it, where they are not giving the joy, and where it's more like this boom, boom, boom. And then in one moment, if you don't have the chance to right now make the step, then you decide in this moment to stop, because then it's difficult. Is it worth to continue to fight for it or not? And there we need much more like a way that we can go with, or this is worth to go with. You understand what I mean? Like it's really just like to show it more, and the idols and the education, but also like from the system, that it's not the jump too big for example, in the Champions League.
What I'm hearing during all these years, and because I have little sisters, my two younger sisters both played handball, one still playing, and what I could see, somehow also the problem or this dropout or something maybe can be also that, yeah, it's lacking of this joy. It's immediately about the result, you know, like they're immediately putting on this scoreboard, and they're already counting the goals or these kind of things, you know. So it's not about that in the first years of handball or whichever sport, you know. It's about the joy, about, yes, educating coaches, because how I fell in love was because of my first coach, you know. We also counted the result, but I don't know, somehow we did a lot of different things in the training, you know. And then the coaches need to put the girls that they fell in love with handball, not throughout competition, but throughout games, different kind of sports activities, not just directly connected to handball, but also like put into like some other mobility things, or like different kind of sports with ball or whatever, you know, so that then afterwards, later on, you connect it to handball, you know, more. So I think it's a lot about this joy, having the joy and fun on the trainings, and especially not about the competition, especially not from the early age on. So
I mean, it's hard to add something to this, but definitely, as she said, I think we all here had some coaches that we were connected to, and we felt like they're our second parents. Handball coach should be a safe place where we should feel the most happiest place, where you are creating friendships, place where you are inspired by your role models. That's definitely that we are keep repeating, but it's very important to identify yourself with someone who is already great in their, I don't know, handball court or whichever court in this world. We're also talking, there are not only problems about not having good coaches or these kind of things, or not well educated. We are also talking here about the compensations fees, with some players leaving some clubs, making a dropout only because of that, because families are not in the great financial situation, so they could provide and pay the different types of buyout, going out from one second club, one to second. And then this is what I really liked. So EHF is trying to find a solution. What would be the best and optimal way to basically find, to create the path between this, let's say, amateur to professional level, because there is a huge dropout, especially because of that. So this is what I liked. What would be indeed the best way to create this, let's say, compensation of fee affordable? So that's, I think, also the great thing what we were talking here, and it's very important, because in my case, I had the luck, the compensation fee was not big, but my family took it from my first club to the professional one, because professional club was not having enough money to pay this. So that's also very important. But yeah, I could agree with all of you. It should be joy, happiness, and play. Yes, that's it.
That also we should parents can be educated in some way, because now I work with kids. I have my camp, Andrea already has, and when we talk, it's really parents are the one who make pressure on the kids. You know, I have many problems with parents more than with kids. You know, they don't know to joy because parents make them pressure. That parents see in them something what probably they couldn't have to in their careers. You know, so also this is important to educate parents, to let kids to enjoy, to show them from us like role model which is the way, because we know that our professional way and path it's really hard. If you want to succeed, you need to work really hard, but to let also them to joy, to don't make them pressure that they must do something. No, they need to join this, and then if they decide to be professional athlete, then just give them support on that.
That's true. I completely agree. I think also, parents are also become like a situation that they force more, and this can be, especially now in this generation, what we're having now, where they happen exactly the opponent. If you get so much pressure that you say, I don't want this anymore, and you don't give a chance. So I agree completely.
Yeah, but educating them in the way they're not only having a dropout, they're also having a dropout because of dual career thing. They're trying to manage the school and the trainings, and there is a thing that indeed the education of the young athletes is from the crucial point of view, and also next to all these things, because indeed for some kids it's really hard to manage having school and trainings. For some not, but for some of them yes. That's why it's important to speak about that it is a manageable. You don't have to choose, of course. So, but you can fulfill all of your obligation. It's just the way you need to learn how. So it's a thing of organization, of course.
But I think also one point which I now actually paid attention when we are going in the World Cup, because you know that there's a lot of handball players which maybe will not reach the point, or they will stay in some amateur club, but they love to stay there. But there's also some other options to stay in our world. You know, like we need referees. You know, like, and I think also we should maybe offer much more possibilities to stay in our world, because if you love handball, and you cannot make this way now to be a top player, but you would like to stay in this. Maybe we can also offer much more to take this women's and to become in this world. I think this also we should kind of focus on, to not have a dropout completely from our world. You know, like you love the sport, you didn't make it, but you don't have the chances in your country. But maybe you can give your love and support in a different way. So I would like to also that we find a way to people to stay in our world, and to offer maybe, or to show them what everything is possible. Become a Simona, to work for the TV. You love handball. Handball is your thing, or not? This is your heart. So you find a way to stay inside there. Maybe somebody wants to become a referee but don't know how. Maybe we should also offer this much more to the young generation. That is, of course, there's a handball player, but if you cannot reach us, maybe you can go another way. Maybe you're also a talented trainer. We need much more women trainers. You know, like, so I think this also...
Inputs now and everything that you said, I think that there were two things that were constantly somehow in all of your minds, and one of them is obviously education, which is an important pillar of how to grow the sport, not only the education of the coaches but also the players, the parents, everyone who is involved in the handball ecosystem. And the second thing that was very often mentioned already here, but also in the conference itself, is the role models. And now, obviously, the five of you are the role models in the sport. But if you now think about you when you were 14, 15 years old, or just starting your handball career, did you have female role models?
There was no internet. I'm so sorry. There was no Instagram or something that you could see this. So no, I didn't have, because I did not know what actually existing outside. Sounding all the time so old when I'm saying this, but it's unfortunately the truth. Like you didn't have all of this that you could see the things. Like I come from Magdeburg, and there was a men's team. So the only thing what I had.
How accessible was women's handball back then on TV, for example?
Nothing. Like you had to find probably like some video cassette. I don't know how for something to find, but this was not possible. I think now that's why we are saying we have the internet, we're having everything, and we have the possibility to show it. I didn't have it. I had some I was watching men handball, and there was some men, like some huge men standing and like, wow, cool, I want to be like this. But really what is happening on competitions, I just know I want to play in the best team, even if I didn't know in the time which this was, but I just had a goal, and I want to go to Olympic Games and playing for my national team. So this was my goals. And the rest developed over the time, because then I find out how big this world is actually and what is everything possible.
What about the rest of you? Female role models? Handball players, female models?
Didn't had role model. When I was it was so many years ago. But in that period it was Budućnost, really great team with Bojana. I remember Bojana came back in Budućnost, and of course everybody watched her, you know. But when I look behind me when I start, really I only had a wish to play handball, to enjoy with the friends there, and I did that. I did this. I really loved handball because my mom played handball, and she said me, "Aida, let's go to try something." I wanted football, but of course in that period was to speak that I want to play football. They were like, "Are you crazy or what? No, you will go on the handball." And then I really,
It's a good one. Trust me.
It's good.
I saw you. I saw you playing football.
No.
Not that I'm an expert.
I just like sport, you know, and I like sport, and I really love handball, and for me only was important to be with friends to play something.
What about the three of you?
For me, actually, I had, let's say, it was like role models, like to someone who look up to. It was definitely Bojana Popovic, because she somehow shaped our generation of handball, women's handball. So she was definitely someone who I was really amazed by. But regarding my position, was Anja Fresher in that time in Slovenia, who was also, she still won 3 Champions League titles, and was at that time really the best handball player, or the best right back in Europe. So I remember they were the 2 players that I look up to, even though it's true there was not so much handball TV, but you still see them. You're still sometimes on the TV, or like you hear about them. So for me, that was, let's say, the 2 names that somehow impacted me.
I mean, not to repeat everything what I said, but I always liked players who were showing some, let's say, a bit of magic or more tricks during the game. And I had this opportunity, I mean, later on, growing up and getting mature in this sport. But as a kid, like being first time called for the national team and these kind of things, I had the opportunity to meet Anja Andersson as a coach of the national team. And for me, she was something different. I mean, she was showing like a bit more fun on the handball court. After that, Bojana came with not the same but similar style, showing different things. But definitely the person who I liked to watch was Ivano Balic. I'm going to jump in. We could see him much more on television. That's also the fact. But he was the one who basically, as she said, also like he shaped our sport.
Yeah, in my case it was similar, because in my city we did not have a women's team. And in that time, we did not have access to women's handball at all. So until Ambrose called me first time with 16 years to the team, I have never saw a women's handball professional match, never in my life. So imagine. But I was lucky because Portland San Antonio was from my city. So my role model was Jackson Richardson. I love him so much. So actually, I love handball because probably this team. So because I was supporter, I went to the halls, I saw matches, but always men's handball. But actually, I think to like a sport, it's also fine to be in a men's role model, not only a woman. Of course, it's easier if you see yourself in the future somewhere. But in my case, it was a men's. I think he was the one who made me like or love handball.
Yeah, but there's a similar type of all of these players. It was him,
Yes,
first
yes,
one, I would say. Yeah,
big stars in that time. Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting to listen to you, because I'm just now thinking about if I would have 5 male guests here, whether any of them would say
A woman role there,
For sure not.
Only if they had a mother who was a star player. That would be only.
I think that for them we are boring, really, to watch us. They don't even watch us.
But I think also like in the career fair, when I started to go first time outside of Germany, when I go to Denmark, and then I played suddenly with Bojana together, actually doesn't matter in which age I was, I still find role models in my teammates. And I think this was where I'm much more happier about and where I grow. I grow when I met Lecky, when I met you, because each of you, also with Anna,
Even if I was younger.
now, but this is what I wanted to say. It doesn't matter, like it doesn't matter if you're younger. I find in each of my teammates and even my opponents, I find something which I was looking up to. Or even in the time, doesn't matter, when I was come to Denmark, I was like crazy. I was like putting everywhere my energy, and I know that Rikke Sko in this time, like, which was a huge Danish player, she stayed beside me like with her mentality. And what now? You can change something, but and I grow, and even you don't need the idol in the beginning. You just find them everywhere beside you, and I think this is also the beauty in our sport. Like when I played with Joka, with Lecky, like this was a new mentality for Willy. It was totally new. I
believe so.
I didn't have this, but I learned so much from you guys. Really, I learned where I'm now taking, and I take all of this experience I'm taking in now in my team and coming back to Germany, where I'm saying we need to learn much more from the Serbians, from the Montenegrinians. Be more proud. Don't be just like a German, like you're just a worker. No, I learned so much from you guys. And I think this is also something which we have to show. We can learn so much and grow together. And I think this is like also very important to point out.
How big of a burden or honor is it to be a role model? Because you, as a role model, obviously, and especially in this time, not maybe when you were starting your professional career, but now when you are more accessible, when you are on social media, when you are more on TV, what does it mean for you now? Do you think about it very often, or does it come naturally to you?
I think maybe now we should have more responsibility, because also our life outside of handball court, it can give them more. Probably we didn't had this in our time. I didn't had, because this social media was not on that level like now. So also, I think we have now more responsibility for to be role model than before.
Responsibility and possibility.
Yeah. Cool.
But you're right. I think but this is also what you're learning over the time. I think you also need the experience to become really to point out in the right moment. I think for many years ago, I had a lot of things, but I would not have a filter to saying in the right way. But I learned it now over the time to really be a role model. And I think what is the most important, and especially I think we can agree everything when we make now this Respect the Talent, which for me I think it's amazing project where I'm really grateful that the EHF did this for the young generation. We just have to be honest. That we don't need to point everything that everything is gold. Now there are some days which I sit home and I cried the hell out of my eyes. So, but it's worse to continue, and you have one day which is bad, but next day you stand up and you continue, and you will be even bigger, and you will never stop. And I think this is also important as a role model, that we are honest about this and not just making everything fake and beautiful. In my opinion, I think this is also helping. But you grow inside to be a role model. With your own experience, you grow inside.
I would try to make it short. I mean, being a role model is a huge honor and a huge responsibility in the same time. This means that you have to set an example with your behavior, your action, your excellence on the field. You need to be true to yourself. You need to earn the trust of the kids. That means that you should be the right example. You need to be very honest, as you said. You need to show them that the world is not always shiny. The career can be really tough, but with very, very amazing, so many amazing moments. And this is everything, all of these things are part of our path. Definitely, it's really not important to be perfect, but to having integrity, maybe resilience, kindness, and these kind of things, and definitely taking the responsibility when it's difficult. are some things what role models should possess.
Beautiful words. Everything what I wanted to say, you make really like. Sometimes I'm very jealous. Sometimes how you find better words than me. I'm really jealous on this.
I was just stealing from you and thinking just make it short.
Yeah, but this is not this is why I always say like short is not existing with Anja. Yeah, I'm like making like points and but you're completely right, and I think this is really a big honor, and we should take this role. You know, there's no escape, but also the professionality, which it's a part of this, and I think we need to show that everything what we are doing now, it's a part of. It's not just playing handball. It's about how you're with the fans, because we need fans. You know, so and there's no excuse to not to want to go to an interview, and this is like what because it's part of your job. This job is not just to playing on the court. This job has so much more different sides, and this is like where we have to take the responsibility and go in front and showing this.
That we are also human, that we are also crying, that it's not everything perfect, you know. So just to be, like they said, honest with them and show them also other parts, that it's not everything like top perfect to be professional player and this kind of thing. So that
and
we
to
are
be yourself.
Yeah.
Be Joka, be Anja. Don't say, if somebody say you need to change, hell, don't do this. I think this is also important.
I mean, we have opportunity to shape their values, and they're the one who are shaping and building the future in handball. So being in that position to shape someone's values like young athletes is beautiful. But as I said, at the same time, it's a huge responsibility. But us growing up, we never thought about that. This just became natural in one point when you realize that your connection with the young athletes is somehow a must, but not like as a beautiful must. It can be said like this. So I think we just took it. We could also say we don't want to be that, but you feel that there is something what handball gave you and you want to give it back in one way. And I think this is the beautiful way, indeed.
This connection with the players in that period, like probably kids has a chance to be now with us, you know. So in that period, I remember when was Bojana, Maja Bulatovic, these players, you know, I was watching them really from side to come them to ask something.
I'm still afraid of you.
Yeah, it was
still
really
afraid of you. I mean, that's nothing changed.
No. But
Yeah.
I really think that now it's kids have more possibility to come us, to talk with us, about everything. When I'm growing, I was afraid to come to this kind of players.
You were mostly referring to young players being their role models, but Anja mentioned one good point. You are not only the role models to young players, you are the role models to fans, to everyone who is involved in the handball world. I mean, to us, everyone who is working, but also outside of the handball world, with the values, with everything with all the characteristics that you encompass as handball players. So I think that this is, as Andrea said, a big honor and big responsibility to bear. But talking about role models, and also one of the things that you already mentioned is having role models not only on the playing field, but having role models as female coaches, as referees, as people working in different areas of the sport. Is this also something that you are potentially missing? Because in what Anja said, we have to keep handball players, or we have to keep the athletes in the sport, because you can also work outside of the playing field on the development and on the growth of the game.
I would like to point out here that what is also, let's say, maybe missing, or like, yes, we are talking now about after career, you know, like, for example, yeah, Simona, I can say you are my role model for sure, you know, like I would maybe now after my career want to be like you or whoever, you know, like, and that's also, I think that it's important that we start to talk about this, that maybe EHF or organizations, they try to make this transition easier for us, because everyone is saying it's really, really hard, you know, and like for me, honestly, I am afraid of it. Of course, you know, I'm thinking now, what should I do? Yeah, but cannot even know because I didn't try it yet, you know, like I didn't try anything else just handball, you know, so you don't even know what you're good at or what can you be good at, you know. So I think, you know, I think this is a very big topic now, but and it's maybe more complicated to do it, but I still think that we should, of course, think about the young generations, but also what is the after career and what is the afterlife for it, and how to make it easier for us. Because I work with my psychologist, and he told me, Anna, you need to start to think about it. It's gonna be tough for you, like, you know, like, and then of course you're afraid. You are so afraid, you know. So I think this is also a thing that we have to think about in the future, and how to make possibilities and this transition easier.
But I think you're completely right. I mean, I went through this, and I was very grateful that the EHF came to me, because otherwise I don't know if I would be in this place where I am right now. And this is what we have for Respect the Talent. The last years I always say we need to create a bigger, I don't know, like also like a project like this for the players who go out, because there are so many other talents which you have developed over the career, which you got interest. Leki is very good with talking, you know, like you will be amazing, and for you have also your qualities, and we should find out more the qualities and use it in the handball world, and to keep the players inside. But there should be a focus, or like to create something like this to find out, to give you also the chance, but also the community to keep it, that or to maybe like what we were speaking now, this all-star games, what will be your option, that you always can connect each other, because like after when you stopped, if you're not get invited to some events, or if you're not going by yourself, you will suddenly be out. So I think it's very important that we keep going to having something where players who soon will stop still have the possibility maybe to meet some sponsor, or maybe to keep going your name, and to see, hey, I think you feed good side in this opportunity what we have, or maybe for the EHF, because you also need a lot of people with this experience, you know, and to find a new project to develop the handball. So Anna is completely right. We need something to protect the players also in this way, and to create something with this amazing women what we are having, and to not lose them, because we already lose a lot of faces, because which is not good. When we came to the Excellent Gala, we are like, I was the first time I could not close my mouth to see what we had for incredible characters, you know. There came suddenly Leganger, and I was like, yeah, true Leganger. Oh my goodness. But what she's doing now, she is componist, nothing to do with the handball world. So, and this is sad. We need to keep the characters. We need to create something. We need the women. We need to stand much more together, and to create any kind of project that we can value you and help you also now when it's time when they stop the career, because it's not good to have the fear. It's not good. I had the fear. And also like when Nicole, and it's not good feeling, and we should not let our players to be like this.
As I anticipated, a very fruitful, a very interesting discussion we had, and we are slowly, unfortunately, running out of time, even though I think that we could sit here still for hours and discuss how we can grow the women's game. But maybe one last question from my side, short one, longer one, however you want. Where do you want to see women's handball in the future? How do you see it? A tough question, huh?
I don't want us to compare to the other women's sport, but I would use this occasion, then probably I would like us to be extremely popular, to create a huge base of the kids. That's the thing what we should aim for if we want to make this sport more visible. And definitely we're also talking then some things about the changing the rules of our sport. Here also had this opportunity would bring more popularity, definitely, more transparent play, and the things what we all want to see are the full halls, full stadiums, and that's the thing. I mean, we all want to have the happy faces and the full halls all over the world, and I want to see handball growing also everywhere in every possible country, definitely.
Probably like if you give somebody a handball, that everybody knows what to do with this. Because if you give somebody a football, everybody knows what to do immediately with the football. If you give a handball, all over the world to know, yeah, that's handball. And I think then you reach the knowledge about handball and you raise it as a really great sport and a lovely sport.
I think this was a very nice long push. You covered.
No. They said already. So I just don't want, like you said, that we compare with other sport. I think we are growing. In future also, I hope we will continue like that. Like these platforms and many others will help to make more popular this sport. And I hope that, in some years in future, we will talk and speak that this is what we wanted in future to growing like other sport, but it's hard to compare with others really in many aspects.
Thank you, Jovanka. Thank you, Anja. Thank you, Anna, Andrea, and Nerea. I hope that maybe we can meet in 5 years here again and see how the sport grew, how we developed it all together, and enjoy handball in a much bigger scene.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.